Hello, this is Not a Spring Chick. And when it comes to impulse shopping, when is your buying, well, buying trouble? So most of us are prone to impulse shopping. In fact, companies depend on all of us being prone to impulse shopping. It only takes a little trip into, well, any department store, any supermarket, to see all the things that are up by the registers that they're counting on you.
When you buy gas at a gas station.
Oh yeah, remember they've got the mini market there, or those late night, well,
infomercials they call them.
Oh yeah, the infomercials that tell you about how you have.
Okay, you need to buy a
shipping. You have to buy it now, and if you buy it now, you can get so much more, right?
Two for the price of one.
So how many times? Well, let me ask you this: how many times have you bought something you were not planning on buying?
You would never do that.
I would never do that. Or how many times have you bought something? Well, you get the picture. Anyway, most of us have been prone to that. But with everything going on in the economy and everybody trying to stretch dollars, sometimes by trying to stretch your dollar, you may even be more subject to the discounting. So, for example, this article here in the LA Times, how do you like this? It's under the health section.
Yeah, and folks, you know, when newspapers are having a hard time, newspapers are a valuable source of information for you locally, right at your fingertips.
Actually, newspapers are probably one of the best sources for, well,
local information.
Local information, including sale ads such as, well, the supermarket sales. It came out on today, which is Tuesday, and all the ads start out for Wednesday, tomorrow. But they're saying that the average credit card holder is $1,673 behind in payments.
When their average is actually greater than that, because most people pay their balances on time, so you could figure this is astronomical how much people that are really behind are behind.
Yeah, and you know what, it's like once you get behind it really just kind of
you can't get caught up.
Yep.
What you do is you then have to go dump your balance over on another credit card or go to a consolidation service.
Well, you know, here's part of the things that people probably don't know. If you are a compulsive shopper, or if you like to manage your credit, there's a couple things that you know is what all the return policies are in the store. Right? Do you know that? Or maybe you're a shopper that doesn't believe in returning things, because I've seen, you know, on
I don't.
shows. What, you don't return things?
I didn't.
Well, some people will buy things only because you plan to keep them, with no intention of ever returning them. Okay, so that works out for some companies. For other people, they will buy because that's what they feel like. I know sometimes when I get in the mood, I will only buy things unless I really, really, absolutely like it. But sometimes I will get in the mood where I want to feel like I want to shop. Oh, no. But you want to feel like you want to shop, and I buy things that are returnable.
Shame on you.
Oh, now here's the thing is, on some of them, you should keep your receipt, because if you want to return them, sometimes you need your receipt and sometimes you don't. It depends on the company. And actually, we can go into, we're gonna talk about shopping first, and then we're gonna talk about returning, because we've got all sorts of insight on that too. But how do you know when your shopping has become a compulsion? Because part of it with shopping is, well, if you're always in search of, how can you tell when it's become a compulsion or addictive behavior?
When you don't take a list to go shopping.
Oh man, remember when you're talking about stretching your dollar, when you're sticking with a budget, you write down all your lists as to what, when you're planning your...
Because you only have X amount of dollars to go so far. If you don't take a list with you, or are the ads showing what you want, you basically are there to pick up things as you walk up and down the aisles.
Wait a minute, if I don't shop with a list, does that mean I might be a compulsive shopper?
No, well, I've been with you. But no, she only buys things that she looks for the bargains. That's the difference.
Oh, that's right, because
you won't pay something that is more that you can get cheaper elsewhere.
Yeah, because part of it is I have an idea. This is what happens is if you shop enough, you have an idea as to what is a good value at what price. So, for example, sometimes I go to the 99-cent store, and even though the bread there's certain breads that we like from there, and we know they're available for 99 cents. So if you see them at the regular supermarket for $3.79, I have a really hard time paying $3.79 when I know I can get it at the 99-cent store. Okay, so I will save up and bunch my trips up. But the other part is when you, as they call it, cherry pick from place to place, you have to take gas into consideration and time into consideration.
Yeah, like a lot of times the best prices are cost ineffective to go to because they're so far away from where you're at.
So when you're shopping, you cluster your shopping times. But when it gets to compulsion, now there are some people that, now I'm not going to say this is a senior sport, but you can say there are people when they get older, it's like I've seen malls where the malls are closed but the doors are open so people go in and walk, and okay, maybe my mom's done this before.
They'll put prices up to hit seniors, knowing that as soon as the doors open, they'll come in and get it.
And basically what they do is, instead of walking outside, they go in through the malls and they just go walk up and down. And
the mall walkers, they call them.
What do they call them?
Mall walkers.
Mall walkers.
I've not got that desperate yet.
Ah, well anyway, some people use that as I call it a senior sport. So anyway, as far as buying being a compulsion, well, part of it is it's an addictive behavior. So if you're addicted or
I think
obsessive.
But I think it hits the young and the old worse than anybody else.
Why do you think? Because they're not obligated to families and thinking about house payments as much?
That's right. They're not concerned about a lot of things, and basically the young have their parents' disposable income, and when you get to be my age, they basically figure, what are you going to do to me that isn't already being done by age? And you want more things than you had before.
Although, for example, like females with males, compulsive shopping. Now, I don't know if I'd consider this a compulsive behavior, although I have told, so, you know, when you buy something, I've told them to put it into the smallest bag possible. I don't really care about having this huge bag that announces where I've been. Some people like bags that announce that because it shows where they've been shopping. Well, if somebody shops more often and there's somebody else, they may put it into a smaller bag. Oh man, this almost sounds like an alcoholic, doesn't it?
Yeah, alcohol.
You know where an alcoholic hides their alcohol?
They would sit there and put them in brown paper bags so people would know they were drinking, which basically showed everybody they were drinking.
So if you are shopping and you're hiding what you bought.
That sounds like a kid, doesn't it?
Gosh.
Or a husband has bought something that he doesn't want his wife to know what he's got.
Oh.
Or a wife that doesn't. Actually, it sounds just like everybody in existence is what it sounds like.
So does that mean everybody's compulsive?
Everybody's compulsive.
In one way or another.
If they weren't compulsive, grocery stores couldn't exist.
So for example, like when we see the grocery store ads, so I'm sitting there looking at it, it says, oh, if you buy 10 for $10 or 10 for $2 each, or, you know, and so you plan your entire list. Anyway, so part of you is, it is a problem. If somebody tells you that it's a problem, there might be something you might want to do about it. Okay, so for right now, we're going to tell you, we're talking about categorizing that condition. There's a couple different places you can go to. Here's the thing.
Well, I know one of them they'll tell you in the church when you go to where you can go.
Well, you know, part of it is obsessive behavior, so it may show you that you could have some other issues. Okay, because you're replacing something else with this. You know, like some people, if they smoke.
They'll replace a cigarette with candy.
Right. Or it's like shopping. They're using it to fill a void. So it may indicate something else other than just getting a good value. But here's some different things. We're going to talk about returning for the next issue. But Debtors Anonymous, they have about 400 meetings across the country. DebtorsAnonymous.org. Now here's the part is, if you go, you may go and feel like maybe you're not so bad after all. So, UCLA's Neuropsychiatric and Behavioral Health Services, www.npiucla.edu. So that's if you're there. Stanford House on University of Minnesota. There's all sorts of places. But if you think you have a challenge with shopping, well, you might want to cut up those credit cards or count to 10.
Cutting the credit cards is your first best thing to do.
Wait for later. But for now, this is not a spring chick. On how not to buy trouble.